Allow me to recount a rather peculiar incident that occurred not too long ago. For the sake of anonymity, I prefer to withhold my name, but I do possess an Instagram account. By and large, I am an ordinary individual holding a job I've been committed to for quite some time. Occasionally, I used to share posts on Instagram, just here and there. However, things took a turn when I started posting Reels, those short videos that have recently gained popularity on the platform. I began experimenting with them and noticed a significant surge in my follower count. To my surprise, I garnered over 10,000 followers, which motivated me to continue posting Reels on a daily basis, whether at work, home, or wherever I happened to be. About 3 months into this routine, something notable occurred. I opened Instagram one day and discovered a direct message awaiting my attention. Occasionally, I would receive messages from viewers or friends sharing interesting content. This message, however, came from a company that shall remain unnamed. I had never come across them before, but upon noticing their verified status and substantial number of followers, I knew they held some credibility. They expressed their admiration for my videos and expressed interest in sponsoring one of my upcoming posts. As you can imagine, this news excited me greatly. I had never envisioned earning money from my videos, so any opportunity was worth considering. The company seemed genuinely appealing to me, so I responded with my interest, prompting them to send me an email containing further details. Their proposal involved sending me a couple of their products, which I would then promote in a post. I received the email and duly completed a contract form, providing them with my personal information. From that point, it was a matter of patiently waiting for the promised products to arrive, estimated to be within a week's time. In the meantime, life carried on according to my usual routine. Typically, I followed a fixed work schedule, beginning early in the morning and returning home in the afternoon. However, that week proved to be an exception. On Thursday, I had the fortunate circumstance of not needing to be at work until 11 a.m., while my departure time remained unchanged. This meant I could enjoy a few extra hours of sleep. As I typically left home around 7:30 a.m., I set my alarm for 9, expecting a comfortable morning. To my surprise, I woke up slightly earlier, around 8:30 a.m. As I regained consciousness, the sound of shattering glass met my ears, filling me with confusion. Moments later, more noises echoed through the house, akin to someone forcefully entering. Despite residing in a not particularly spacious home, the sounds carried throughout, making their presence evident. Without a doubt, intruders had entered my house. I strained to listen, discerning the possibility of multiple individuals. My heart raced, struggling to process the alarming reality of a break-in transpiring at 8:30 in the morning. Instinctively, I reached for my phone, dialed 911, and relayed all the details in a hushed voice. Thankfully, the intruders seemed to remain distant from my bedroom. After concluding the call, I fervently hoped that the police would arrive as swiftly as possible. According to their estimation, they should have been on site within minutes. Meanwhile, the intruders continued their movements throughout my dwelling, unaware of my presence. I anxiously pondered the prospect of them advancing toward my bedroom, although thus far, they hadn't ventured beyond the opposite end of the house. Nevertheless, I deemed it unwise to take any chances, especially since my bedroom lacked a lock. With a sense of urgency, I resolved to relocate to the adjacent bathroom. While situated in the hallway, it necessitated carefully opening my bedroom door and swiftly moving towards the bathroom. My intention was to maintain silence and minimize any noise that could potentially alert the intruders to my presence. With bated breath, I reached the bathroom door, carefully closing it behind me. As I turned the lock, a sigh of relief escaped my lips. I was grateful to find myself safely enclosed within the confines of the bathroom. From my sheltered vantage point, I could still hear the faint sound of footsteps and hushed voices coming from the other side of the house. The intruders seemed to be engrossed in their illicit activities. Time ticked by slowly as I waited anxiously, hoping that the police would arrive promptly. Minutes stretched into what felt like an eternity, but finally, the sound of knocking at the front door reverberated through the house. It was the long-awaited arrival of the police. With cautious steps, I left the safety of the bathroom, making my way to the front door. Unlocking it, I allowed the officers inside, relieved to have their presence and expertise at my disposal. I shared my harrowing encounter with them, providing as much detail as possible while they conducted a thorough search of the premises. Sadly, the intruders had already made their escape, leaving behind a shattered window in the dining room and a sense of violation. Various valuables and possessions had been pilfered, compounding my frustration and anger. My primary hope rested on the police's ability to apprehend the culprits and bring them to justice. As the days passed, a growing suspicion began to take hold in my mind. It wasn't until I realized that I hadn't received anything in the mail that my thoughts turned to my Instagram involvement. Curiosity led me to check the status of the company that had contacted me. To my dismay, their account appeared to have vanished, as if it had been deleted. Puzzled, I conducted a search and found an alternative page, also verified, representing the same company. This discovery prompted further investigation. I reflected on the contract I had signed, realizing that I had unknowingly provided my address. Moreover, considering the visibility of my posts on Instagram, it was conceivable that the perpetrators had gleaned details about my work schedule and even the layout of my house. It dawned on me that the verification status on social media accounts could be obtained through monetary means, casting doubt on the authenticity and credibility of the company. While it was entirely possible that this sequence of events was nothing more than a bizarre coincidence, my intuition insisted otherwise. It felt like a meticulously orchestrated setup, purposefully luring me into a vulnerable situation. The motives behind such a scheme remained unclear, but I couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that my Instagram involvement had inadvertently made me a target. In the aftermath of this disconcerting incident, I took necessary precautions to enhance the security of my home, installing stronger locks and a security system. I also became more vigilant regarding the authenticity of offers and sponsorships that came my way through social media platforms. The experience served as a stark reminder that not everything is as it seems, and caution should prevail, even in the seemingly harmless world of online interactions. Life eventually returned to its normal rhythm, albeit with a heightened sense of awareness and wariness. As for my Instagram journey, I continued to share my passion through Reels, but with a renewed skepticism towards unfamiliar entities and an unwavering commitment to my own safety and security. And while the true intentions behind that unsettling incident may forever remain a mystery, it serves as a poignant reminder to tread carefully in the digital realm, where appearances can often be deceiving. I'm just an ordinary guy who enjoys using Instagram to keep up with friends and follow my favorite sports teams. One feature I often explore is the Explore page, where random posts from accounts I don't follow pop up. It's usually a mix of interesting content, and each time I log in, it's a new set of posts. Some time back, I began noticing the same picture appearing repeatedly on the Explore page. It wasn't a big deal at first, but when it kept showing up, I found it strange. Eventually, my curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to click on it to see why it kept appearing. It was a picture of a gray four-door sedan, nothing particularly special about it. The photo had no visible likes or comments, and the account behind it had a random word and numbers as its username, with the car as the profile picture. Only a handful of followers and 4 pictures of different cars were posted on the account. They seemed like random pictures taken on the street, in driveways, and parking lots. However, I noticed that one of the cars in the photos was the same make and model as mine, and upon closer inspection, it appeared to be parked in my own driveway. This sent a chill down my spine. Who was running this account? I shared the picture with a couple of friends, and while they found it strange too, no one could figure out who would do such a thing or why. I was tempted to comment or send a message to the account, but something held me back. The next day, when I opened Instagram again, there it was, the same picture of my car on the Explore page. I clicked on it, hoping for something new, but it was just the same photo. I decided to check the account again, and to my surprise, there was a story posted. It was a poll with the question "which one?" and options numbered 1 through 4. I didn't understand what it meant at the time, so I didn't vote and left it alone. The whole situation felt increasingly eerie. Later that day, I finished work and returned to find my car missing from the driveway. I couldn't believe my eyes. The memory of the Instagram post flashed through my mind. I immediately called the police and informed my boss about the situation. Thankfully, my boss was understanding and allowed me to come in a bit late. The police arrived promptly and took down all the details, including information about the strange Instagram account. Unfortunately, when they attempted to investigate, the account had already been deleted. The police assured me that they would do their best to locate my vehicle. I had to rely on rideshare services and insurance to get a rental car for the time being. For the next few days, the incident consumed my thoughts until one day, I received a call from the police. They had found my car abandoned, parked on the side of the road about 20 miles away. Miraculously, it was undamaged, and I was able to retrieve it. However, the mystery behind the Instagram account remained unsolved. The police couldn't trace the person responsible. The whole situation was bizarre, especially with the poll suggesting the choice of which car to steal. It left me wondering why someone would post such things on Instagram in the first place. Despite everything, I'm just grateful to have my car back. I hope this unsettling experience doesn't repeat itself, and I can finally put it behind me. I am currently employed as a security guard for a recycling yard, working the night shift. Due to confidentiality reasons, I cannot disclose the name of the company I work for. I have been stationed at this site for 2 weeks now, and tonight marks the beginning of my second week. My main responsibility is to conduct regular patrols throughout the vast recycling yard, which contains a variety of valuable metals that are broken down and sold. During my shift, I must check various checkpoints to ensure that no unauthorized individuals are present in the yard or the facility. Additionally, I have a specific task that involves navigating through a grassy and bushy terrain, as well as crossing a set of train tracks in order to take a photograph of a distant warehouse. This is done to verify its safety and ensure it remains clear. To navigate through the yard, I rely on a powerful flashlight with a brightness of 2000 lumens, which illuminates my path effectively. Around an hour and a half ago, during one of my routine rounds, I made my way through the grassy area and crossed the train tracks. I took the required photograph of the warehouse and promptly submitted it. However, as I turned around, an intense feeling of being watched washed over me. It was as if the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and I found myself frozen in place. My flashlight was still pointing towards the warehouse, so I cautiously aimed it behind me. To my astonishment, approximately 10 yards away, I spotted a thin, elderly white man with a large, white beard sitting on a chair. His gaze was fixed directly on me. He wore tattered jean overalls and what appeared to be a Western-style cowboy fedora, leaving his bare skin exposed beneath the overalls. Now, I consider myself a relatively large and strong man, standing at 6 feet tall and weighing 220 pounds. But the shock was overwhelming. Involuntarily, I let out a startled expletive, and in my state of surprise, I dropped my flashlight. To make matters worse, the ground was littered with tiny shards of metal, making it difficult to see without the flashlight's illumination. All I could hear was the rapid shuffle and clanging of footsteps, as if someone was swiftly approaching me. Within a distance of about 5 feet, I heard the footsteps abruptly veer to the left and pass by me. In a matter of seconds, the sound of metal clanging faded, replaced by the distant rustling of bushes. I quickly retrieved my flashlight from the ground and directed its beam towards the source of the sound. However, the old man had vanished, disappearing beyond the bushes, leaving me unsure of his whereabouts. My body trembled with a mixture of adrenaline and fear. After regaining control of my breathing, I immediately contacted several emergency contacts. By the time they arrived at the scene, the old man had long since disappeared. In hindsight, I wonder if he had simply been there to observe the passing trains. The fact that the metal chair he sat on was facing the tracks supports this possibility. The chair remains where I last saw it, and I even took a photograph of it as a personal keepsake. Unfortunately, due to the rules of this group, I am unable to share the photo. As I sit here in the office, still gripped by terror and feeling utterly alone, I remind myself that I must complete my shift tonight and face another 11 hours of the graveyard shift tomorrow. The reality is that I cannot afford to quit my job at this time, as I rely on the income. Nonetheless, I simply needed to share this unsettling experience and relieve some of the burden weighing on my chest.